Hello and welcome to With Ray Anderson. This is the channel where we talk about economic, political, and we talk about some business things in simple terms. Today we're going to talk about the history of the gentrification of Miami, Florida. Now, the purpose of this video is to get you knowledgeable about how Miami became gentrified. Not necessarily what it looks like now, but how it got to be gentrified and how you can identify when gentrification is coming and what gentrification is. Let's start with basically what is gentrification. Gentrification is a term coined by Ruth Glass, who was in London in 1964, and she was asked a task to do a survey on a certain group of people, and she coined the term gentrification and wrote about that. The word gentrification comes from the word gentrify, or gentry I should say. Gentry is an old French term which describes the middle class, the artisans, and the people of that nature. Okay, now, you must destroy before you can gentrify. And how that is done, there are various tools that are used. One is redlining, and this was used back in the Franklin Delano Roosevelt administration, where they would actually draw out areas that you could not invest in. The result of that was devastating. It lasted for many, many years. Reduction of services is another tool which people use to gentrify. The schools get bad, there's a rise in crime, picking up garbage doesn't exist. That leads to the next tool, which is restrictive covenants, where that in your lease, you are obligated to sell a home to within what is in that lease. So in other words, I could not sell my home to a black person, let's say. Blockbusting was a tool that used in gentrification. What that was is exactly what it says. A white person might look out her window and see a black woman with a baby carriage rolling it down the street. She was paid by a real estate agent to try to scare the white person to sell their home. Also, there were notes where people received phone calls asking for people with black type names. And that was another tool that real estate agents used. Urban and slum clearance. Food deserts exist once places are gentrified. And pharmacy deserts. What people don't think of is once a place has been gentrified, what happens to the people who are left behind? I have a theory, I call it the Whole Foods theory. The people that are left behind cannot afford to live there and buy the stuff they need. Let's go to early Miami. It was known as Biscayne County in the early 800s. It was incorporated in 1896. They say a lady named Julia Tuttle made it out quite well. She is called the mother of Miami. In 1862, the Land Grant Act was implemented. It gave white Americans an incredible opportunity to move west and start their lives over again. There was also the Morrill Act of 1862, which paid for colleges being built in the West. Blacks were excluded, as I said before. When you skip ahead in Miami becomes a tourist destination. The black population in Miami in 1910 was less than 6,000. By 1920, it was 30,000. There were jobs in Miami and the economy was doing well. At the same time, there was land speculation fraud. $1 million homes were built on Miami Beach. The Great Depression came along. The Federal Highways Act came along in 1936. The initiation of a 30-year mortgage. which is the mainstay of American homes right now. And blacks didn't really benefit out of that much. Moving on, Operation Bootstrap was implemented by President Truman, where he wanted to change Puerto Rico's economy. At that point, a huge amount of Puerto Ricans had the opportunity to migrate to the United States, specifically to Miami. The National Defense Act came along in 1957. That was based upon an Eisenhower trip he had made in 1919, where it took him 62 days to travel from the East Coast to the West Coast. The National Highway Defense Act was single-handedly one of the biggest tools in destroying neighborhoods, and it did so also in Miami. The Cuban Revolution, when Batista was removed and replaced by Fidel Castro, gave the Cuban population a chance to move to Miami, and over 15 years, 500,000 went. Also, they followed up with the Mariano boat lift, which many more Cubans came over. You can't leave out the Haitians. There was Jean-Claude Duvalier, Papa Doc, had done heinous things in Haiti. Haiti had the opportunity, people from Haiti saw the opportunity to move to Little Haiti, and Little Haiti became established. Miami suffers from something called climate gentrification. Basically, the lands, the beaches and the lands are disappearing. And the people who own communities there realize they must move in bounds. I don't know if you've been to Miami, but they actually have pumps in the street pumping water out. But in any case, this has made Little Haiti a very popular gentrification place. So Little Haiti right now, the average home goes from $235,000 to $1.8 million. Yet the community, indigenous, I'm going to use that word, community in Haiti, make only $50,000. So they're clearly lost. I'd like to thank you for your time. I'd like you to continue to watch some of the videos. Definitely subscribe and have a great day. Bye.